All right, you are live with Dr. Chapa. Guys, welcome to the Dr. Chapa Show. I am so excited to teach you guys more and more about how to live better, be better, stay better, one bite at a time. Few housekeeping rules, drchapawellness.com. Just want you to know that Detox in a Box is there for your restoration and vitality program. I want you to know that you have resources and tools. And this live broadcast is essentially my trying to educate and teach and help you understand that we can live better, be better, and stay better through food choices, lifestyle modifications, and help people see that there is a better way. There is a better direction we can take our health and our well-being, spiritually, emotionally, physically, biochemically, every which way to Sunday. And it's your life, your health, your choice. And we want people to know that they can stop suffering with ailments that they weren't genetically born with. That means if you've got chronic fatigue, if you got brain fog, if you've got issues in your body, please know that you are a candidate for the Detox in a Box. You are a candidate for longevity wellness programs. At drchapawellness.com, I'm always trying to educate people how to be their best, live their best, and perform their best day in and day out. So what I decided to do is just to put together a little decoding program for you guys, especially whenever it comes to blood work, when it comes to your blood work really says about your health and frankly about your gut. Because all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental driver for your body to perform like it's supposed to or not. So, that being said, I want to encourage you guys to stay tuned, ask questions, and know that this message is for you. So, decoding blood work for the gut. Your gut, if it is not healthy, meaning if you have, again, symptom patterns you weren't genetically born with, acid reflux, indigestion, heartburn, all the things that keep you up at night, or all the things that keep you from being the best version of you. I just literally had a young lady who is a sport player, very, very good at her sport, and she is suffering with nausea and vomiting all the time. She not vomiting per se, it was just that refluxy type vomiting. Like her stomach is just in enough pain that she's distracted from being the best version of her possible. So, what do you think they typically recommend in today's GI specialty whenever the body is feeling nauseous or heartburn or reflux, especially for a young teen? Oh, well, it's just her hormones, right? No, no, it's far from her hormones. Oh, okay. Well, what else could it be? Well, I mean, she needs some acid reflux pills. So let's give her some, purple pill. Let's give her some other acid blocker in the stomach. And see, this right here, this stomach piece, when it comes to symptom land, if you are dealing with an issue in the stomach, then you are not setting yourself up for success for longevity, restoration, vitality in any way, shape, and form. You're, in fact, stressing your detox pathways, and that creates this biochemical stress that is going to cause then the digestive lining to deteriorate. It's going to cause your body to be insulin resistant. It's going to be, cause the body to not be able to repair those mucous membranes. So your immune system of your gut begins to deteriorate. You can't digest rocks in your stomach. Well, that's essentially what happens when the stomach is messed up. And so we have to look at the blood work and figure out and show you, hey, your stomach acids are simply off, or your stress hormones are simply off, or your detox channels are blocked up, and your inflammatory restoration cycles are out of balance. This is great for you if you have symptoms or know people that are suffering with this type of issue in their body, because you will find that when you are dealing with these types of issues, your body will respond to nutrition very well. Okay. So here we go. I always like getting on these topics because, we're back to school right now. And I'm over here talking not about your immune system. I'm talking about your digestive system. And it all starts in the gut. And the reality is, if this digestive system is working properly, your immune system will actually work like it's designed to. I don't like the word actually, because I also oftentimes say that anybody uses the word actually before they say anything, they're actually unsure. So I want to rephrase it. I'm 100% confident that if you take care of your gut lining, your immune system will be better. You will fight back the good fight of faith in your digestive tract with more resolve and more resilience if it is strong and mighty in and of itself. So 70% of your immune system lives in your gut, which means it is the defender from the outside world, and it's the builder of good nutrients for your body to restore itself and for the cells to be healthy and maximize their longevity. The last thing we want is, for example, a red blood cell that has a 3 to 5 day lifespan to deteriorate in a day, or for your body to allow old, worn out red blood cells to float around in the body. So if the gut lining is doing its job in manufacturing brain chemicals, neurotransmitters, which it makes 3 million more neurotransmitters, your gut lining does, than your brain has. Amazing. That's why if you get butterflies in your stomach, that's your neurotransmitters down there flying and trying to get a message to you. You got to tap into that and go, oh. So in a sense, what I'm saying is, if you have a sixth sense, not a sick sense, but a sixth, the number six sense, it's your butterflies, your neurotransmitters in your gut flying in formation, getting a clear message to you that something is wrong. And you should honor that. You should listen to that. Well, if your digestion is weak and fragile, and 70% of your immune system is deteriorating now and down to, say, the 40s or 30s, well, now you're catching bugs right, left, and Sunday. And when the school doors open, little Johnny's bringing home whatever his Sally classmate gave him. And so now this is a spreading cesspool that leaves the schoolhouse, comes to your home, and infects your whole family. And the gut lining is everything. So if you're eating food that is inflammatory to the gut, like fried food, or what I like to call the crap, excessive amounts of carbohydrates that clog up your backside, or the refined sugar excess, one cookie and one Coke, which is not excessive in the realm of today's modern world, it's excessive. It can paralyze your immune system for up to 8 hours. Paralyze. So what you eat is important, but what you don't eat is more important. That's crucial news. So if you want a strong immune system, you've got to make sure that you take care of the gut tissues. So when we look at the gut lining and the digestive system, it's the root of energy, vitality, clarity, healing, every which way to a better version of you possible starts in the digestive tract. There's 28 feet of digestive lining. And if your digestive lining is healthy, strong, and vibrant, you thrive. If you have a digestive lining that's irritable, you have irritable bowel, you're going to be irritable as a person. I had this one patient come in, and I'm not picking on all the ladies right now, but ladies are way more in tune and taking care of themselves than the men are, unfortunately. But the reality is this, interestingly, is this gal was cantankerous. She was mean. I mean, and I had to really bite my tongue a lot of times because I would have been offended in my old ways. But as I have gotten healthier, my resolve and my ability to tolerate, people being attacked, attack mode, or people being defensive, or people being judgmental, or just flat out ornery, I know that those people are dealing with some kind of inflammatory illness in their body, and that's making them act out of their emotional side. Remember, we're structural, we're emotional, we're biochemical. And if any of the triad is broken, another piece of it flares up and inflames. So this lady had irritable bowel syndrome so bad, and she was having between 15 and 22 diarrhea, explosive bowel movements per day. This is the second time in my clinical career that I've had somebody that had in excess of 18 bowel movements essentially a day that were uncontrolled. This gal, and then about 10 years ago in one of my other buildings, clinics, I met this flight attendant person who had the same issue. She was up for 25 times a day. And I know that sounds like I'm just blowing smoke up your butt. Just made it funny. Sorry about that. I got a little excited. But the reality is, No, I mean, seriously, there are people walking around with explosive diarrhea, bloody diarrhea, immense amount of diarrhea, and they do not have their neurotransmitters flying in formation. They do not manufacture B vitamins. So they're trudging through their day, trying to get through the day, and they are struggling. And so when they talk to somebody like me and they come in and their body's red hot and inflamed and on fire, guess what winds up happening? It's messy in the middle. This is the healing journey. The hero's journey is going through the process. There is no magic that says, hey, I'm going to just stop the pain now. That's what they want drugs to do. But drugs, guys, will never do that. Turning off the check engine light bulb, the light, does not fix the underlying cause of the problem. You've got to look at the excessive crap, the excessive amounts of carbs, the refined sugars, the artificial ingredients, the processed food that you're putting in your body. If you eat make-believe food, the best you'll ever have is make-believe health. So I always want to point you to real food. If the food you're eating has a label on a box, odds are there's more nutrition in the box than there is in the food that you're consuming. So please note that if you want energy, clarity, healing, restoration, longevity, fully functional in spirit, mind, and body, you got to get this right. The gut has to be well. So the first line of defense in a toxic world is food. What we eat matters. What we don't eat matters more. And our gut lining. This is where it starts, but it really starts in the stomach. If the great Bob Marshall ever taught me one thing, this guy was a master. He studied all over the world. He was a PhD nutrition scientist, and he knew his stuff inside and out. He had research to back it up and more research to back up that research. It was quite amazing. And he said, Chop, if you take care of one thing for a patient, just one, you take care of their gut lining. You take care of their stomach specifically. The stomach is the gateway into good digestion and absorption of other nutrients, manufacturing of healthy brain chemicals, energy pathways being supported, inflammation pathways being restored, and getting the body to perform at an energetic level that allows you to be the best version of you all the days of your life. So I really want to, encourage you, if you are dealing with acid reflux, indigestion, bloating, gas, if you're having the brick in your stomach, if you're burping after meals, if you're having, issues where you're avoiding protein because it seems to hurt your tummy because it's like a brick in your stomach, know this, there's an answer for you. Okay, so please note that I work on the stomach all the time. And there's things we can do topically, like just with peppermint oil. There's things we can do biochemically with, different herbs like ginger or chamomile or marshmallow. There's so many things. There's so many options. But turning off the check engine light with a drug is not your first line of defense. It should never be your first line of defense. It is overprescribed and unfortunately inefficient in long-term care. If you destroy the stomach, you destroyed the health of the vessel. So they're doing this even to infants, guys. This is a major wake-up call that if you have a kid with colic, they don't need an acid blocker. If you have a kid that is having indigestion and spitting up all the time, a baby, if you will, that is always dealing with some sort of digestive problem, it's something they're eating. I can't tell you, 15 years ago, I remember this story, so I can tell you. This lady calls on the phone and she is in distress, okay? I never met her. She was never a patient. I don't know why she never came in. It's kind of weird, but whatever. She was in dire straits. And I was late one night. I can't remember if it was a Thursday or Friday night, and I was going out of town. And so I remember going out of town. That's why I couldn't get her in immediately. But she was in such a bad pickle that her kid was on like their, seventh round of antibiotics. They were wanting to do these reflux blockers. And guess what? It was a food allergy. And I got them off their food allergy, which we test that out in the office. You can come in and we took care of it. The number one case of food allergies for your kids is the common thing that people are giving them: oatmeals and rice meals and different dairy products, milks, and a lot of these formulas are chock full of corn starches and corn syrups and fillers and all these things, right? So you can't expect an infant digestive tract to be able to digest food that was never designed to be consumed in a processed environment anyway. Remember, the best milk is mama's breast milk. The next best milk would be a goat milk. We should never be consuming this pasteurized, homogenized, infested with hormones and chemicals, processed commercial milk that people are consuming. Garbaggio, will not servo. You got to get that auto, if you will. How about them? I have a lot of fun talking about digestion day in and day out, and this is huge. So normal labs can hide dysfunction. So you can have normal labs according to pathological standards. The functional ranges reveal the pattern. If you've never had me read your blood work, you need to make an appointment and bring your labs in. One, you probably don't have enough labs run and they're not giving you a full picture, number one. Number two, the labs you have are pathological design, meaning if they're out of range pathologically, guess what's going to happen? You will see them prescribe something because insurance won't allow them to prescribe just off symptoms alone. They oftentimes need the prescription to be supported, validated by a blood test, and the pathological ranges have to be out of range, which is why a lot of you are suffering day in and day out. And what does the doctor tell you? Well, come back in 6 months and hopefully, something will be there that I can see to fix, because they're waiting for you to break down. Let's not wait till you've broken down the side of the road. Let's do the proper wellness care, the proper maintenance support, the vitamins, minerals, the essential fatty acids test necessary to see where your glitches are at early so that we address you as weeds in the garden. It's so much easier to pull a weed out than an oak tree, right? So people understand that. And we want to be proactive in the wellness game, preventative, if you will, in the wellness game. So labs do give you clues. They give us opportunity to take action before they become a problem, which allows your body to be restored back to ideal health. So digestive marker number one, stomach acids, blood urea nitrogen it's not BUN, although a lot of us docs will call it BUN, but it is blood urea nitrogen. If it is low, it is an indication that you have weak protein digestion, and nobody wants weak protein digestion. So total protein and globulin levels lead to another indicator that you have poor absorption as well as stomach acid issues. These three markers right here are going to give you a clue to your stomach digestion. Now, there's a fourth one, and the fourth one is called phosphorus. However, it's not here because 99.9% of the time it's not run. But if phosphorus, blood urea nitrogen, total protein, globulin, if any of them are out of balance, which we will teach you what that looks like, compounded by your symptom patterns, or even not. Let's say that you don't really have a bad stomach acid issue, but those numbers are off and you have skin problems. Well, that's because, again, that rock that you're trying to digest is clogging up another system in the body, allowing it back up into the liver, and then that's coming out of your skin. You're percolating that trash that you couldn't break down and absorb into and use into manufactured nutrients that your body needs to restore itself. And it's being basically backlogged in the system and being pushed out another orifice in the system. But interesting, right? Why do I have 4 stomach acid markers that you could use as a resource and see how the body is digesting at the stomach level? Well, that's very fascinating. And so I really want you guys to note that if your protein levels, globulin levels, blood urea nitrogen levels are out of balance, you're not going to be breaking down food in the stomach or absorbing nutrients well in the intestine. That's a number one issue. And then what do when you have that issue? This is what's so fascinating. These numbers can be out of whack right in front of their nose and they don't address it, right? And then all of a sudden, they put you on an acid blocker to turn off that bubble guts that you got. And now you compound the stomach's ability to break down food all the more. Do you see the problem with that? What happens is if you break down food well, you can potentially absorb well, assuming that it's not in the crap department, the carbs, excessive amounts of therein, or artificial ones, or refined ones, or processed ones. These CRAP. That's why I like to say it. I don't mean it ugly, but it's like an acronym for too many carbs, refined sugars, artificial ingredients, and processed food. And chloride is a symptom that your stomach is off because of blood sugar, and pH is off. that is driving your basic, digestive needs into an inflammatory state. So now the food that is getting past the stomach is going into an inflamed tissue system. And now we've got another number, a fifth look at the stomach acids, the chloride. And so we can use these markers to determine whether or not a person has good digestion, poor absorption, detox pathways being affected, essentially with or without a stomach acid reflux diagnoses. So this is, I hope, really fascinating for you guys to really appreciate that when you are wanting to do a detox in a box, when you are hoping to find a clue on why your body's not, why it's breaking down too suddenly and what we can do to fix it, we want to start in the digestive tract. And so drchopawellness.com, man, the detox in a box is designed to restore function to the stomach, the bile production sites of your liver, your pancreatic enzymes for absorption, and just for cleansing the blood, the brain, the bowels, the gut. All kinds of tissues will be improved upon, and your system will see an improvement in blood pressure, cholesterol. You'll see an improvement in brain fatigue or memory issues, memory lapses, or you'll find that you're just you're not getting sick as often because now you've changed the filters and the system isn't going to be growing algae, so to speak. Okay. So again, very powerful tool, the detox in a box. So go to drchopawellness.com, pick yours up today so that you can live your best, be your best, and stay your best day in and day out. Digestive markers and nutrients. So this is another really powerful gift and tool to the body that I want people to recognize. Ferritin, iron, total iron binding capacity. This is an absorption check. So this gives me a clue to not just, oh, she's anemic or they have a blood issue. This just is straight up absorption. If you're not breaking these things down, guess what? It's because your stomach isn't cleaving the minerals and other minerals, not just iron, into their usable parts. So ferritin and iron, ferritin is the gas tank. Again, not often run on a blood test. They do look at iron sometimes. Sometimes it's just the red blood cell count. And they don't look at these numbers because they don't really appreciate that there are more ways to look and evaluate how the body's working and communicating. And so we have to look at the iron gas tank. That is the ferritin. We need to look at the iron levels. We need to look at the red blood cells, the MCV, the MCH, the MCHC, the B12, the folate status. I mean, my goodness, that's a lot of blood to evaluate. I know that's a little overwhelming to some of you guys, but understand that's what I do. That's what I want to do for you. I want you to come in twice a year and let me evaluate you, even if you don't have symptoms. We're not waiting to for a diagnosis to show up. We're being proactive and checking in and keeping you on a wellness program. If I at least have you on the core 4, vitamin, mineral, essential fatty acid, plus maybe you're a stress junkie, or maybe you have chronic old liver issues, or maybe your immune system's always been kind of weak and we got to support, or maybe your pH is off and we got to get your minerals up. This is what my office is designed to be, a preventative wellness center that helps you live your best, be your best, perform your best day in and day out. And then we look at the albumin globulin ratio. This is gut liver absorption. If the system is running like it's supposed to, these numbers, these ratios will be in alignment. So I hope just with these first 2 blood markers, you get excited and go, wow, my blood can show me way more than my doctor ever told me. And that's exactly right. I sit down with people day in and day out, show them their blood work, and they go, how come my doctor doesn't talk to me about this stuff? They don't know. And I mean, they have a very limited pool of resources to even fix some of this stuff if they even knew about this stuff. Now, there are more doctors coming online, God bless them, but they're so far behind. They still don't believe nutrition makes a difference. I still got people wanting statins in the water supply, and they tell my patients that their diet doesn't matter. What is wrong with you? You cannot eat sugar or excessive carbs, refined processed food, and these artificial ingredients and expect your body to perform like it's supposed to. And so if you want your liver cleaned, you need to do a detox program. If you want to check your system, you got to come in and let me look at these numbers, and I can show you where your body's falling apart and what you can do to fix it. So again, Exciting stuff. So moving forward, digestive marker number 3, enzymes and bile. We're looking at liver enzymes, ALT, AST. That should actually say GGT right there. Darn it. Oh, well, I'll fix that later. So make a note, ALT, AST, GGT, the essential enzyme inflammatory cycles that we see in the liver and gallbladder show up here. So again, ALT, AST, GGT would give us that as a clue. Lipase, amylase are also things that we can look at, although we don't always run these particular enzymes in the blood, but we know we can support them. Every patient that has any digestive symptom, we have a product called Digest Force. And sometimes I use Digest Force along with a detox because it gives the digestive stomach acid support, the bile production support, the enzymes from the pancreas as we're healing and restoring the body. When your body is inflamed and irritated and irritable, we know that the enzyme levels are altered. So we want to give the body some extra bonus material to help it perform at its best level. If you don't have a gallbladder, you still need bile. And so, yes, your liver makes bile, but it's not making as much. So we support that in your body. And so I have different bile solutions for you folks out there that can't manufacture it well on your own because your liver is backed up, clogged up, and jacked up. So we support you, and then we teach you what not to eat. Because again, what you eat is important, but what you don't eat is, come on, more important. And what happens is we support the body with nutrient supplements in the meantime, because now you have a detriment, a disfigurement, you've been robbed, if you will, of one of your key organ systems. And they go, oh, you don't need a gallbladder. Yes, you do. God put it there, folks. Come on. How lame is that? They should know better. I mean, this is not rocket science. And then, of course, we look at calcium, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus, and we're looking at these numbers because if you're not breaking them down in the stomach, you're not absorbing them well in the small intestine, you're not getting these cofactor recycles back to the systems and tissues to use effectively. So this is all critical in evaluating where you are as a whole. So again, do you have symptom patterns, headaches, skin issues? By the way, skin issues are a sign that your liver is out of balance. And here's the problem with the ALT, AST, and GGT, okay? They can be 80% destroyed at the tissue level and never show up here, which is unfortunate. But that also shows how powerful your liver is. So a detox in a box is very what I call proactive in supporting key tissues like your kidneys, like your liver, like your brain, like your blood, like your cardiovascular system, like your digestive system. It sounds like I just hit them all, didn't it? Wow. Why do you think I used to call it the ultimate detox program? Now I call it Detox in a Box because I'm mailing it straight to your front door. I got courses that will help you. I got groups that'll help you. I've got a support team that'll help you. We will help you go through this process and live your best day in and day out and maximize the nutrient absorption rate so that you can build healthy stomach acids, that you can keep those mineral levels in check. Because if your mineral levels are off, which a ton of people's are, you'll have just something simple like cramps. If you get cramps in your legs, your calcium, magnesium, zinc, phosphorus ratios, copper ratios, iron ratios are off. Okay. Now, what if you had just acid reflux or you had constipation problems? It could be a valvular problem. So one of the patients, like I mentioned in the very beginning, that athlete, we fixed it. It was constipation. All we had to do is get her pooping 3 times a day and get her hydration levels up. And all of a sudden, no nausea. Now, no longer is she having heat issues when she's playing outside. She is performing at top-notch levels, getting promoted even in her task at hand to the next, JV level, which is very exciting. Guys, it really comes down to good nutrition. It comes down to good tissue function. If the tissues are toxic, you've got to detox. And if you're not detoxing in the 21st century, you're missing a huge piece of your healthcare plan. If you're not looking at your blood work regularly, like I'm teaching you here, you are missing a great opportunity. There's other tests that I run in my office called an MVX test, a metabolic vulnerability index, which shows us tons of stuff about toxicity your inflammatory rate, if your body needs drainage, I can help you. You've got to just get your heinies into the office and stay committed to the program, even whenever you're having a hard time staying off the sugars. So the stomach acid trail, it breaks down, starts at the gut, low acid, bloating, reflux, indigestion. This is the point of today's talk, is hypochlorhydria or low stomach acids leading to infections, deficiencies, and essentially accelerated aging. And so we are always out.
Here's how your stomach acid works.
Body works.
This is your food. It goes into your stomach. Now, if you have good, strong stomach acid, it will break down that food really easily and quickly. And then we get to absorb all the nutrients. But if you don't have enough acid in your stomach, what happens is you get this big, like gray sludge that just sits in your stomach. You feel bloated. You don't digest your food. You don't absorb any nutrients. And then you have all these other symptoms like heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, the whole 9 yards. So you have low stomach acid. We need to add this red blocked icon right here. So it looks like this. Okay, you can see it right there. That's the stomach acid. It's blocked. It's not working. You're not digesting your food. You're not absorbing any nutrients. And then when we go to the next step, which is the small intestine, this is where we actually absorb all the nutrients from our food. But if we don't have the stomach acid to break down the food in the first place, then we not gonna be able to absorb any nutrients, and we gonna have all these other symptoms. If you want to learn more about how to fix this, check out the link below.
Hey, so at the end of the day, cool little video. Thought it was really cutesy. But, here's the other thing. Stress and digestion are a big deal. I call this this is not my book, but Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. This is a book where zebras are able to shut off their stress pathways because, they are only stressed one time a day when the tiger or lion is chasing them. Once the tiger stops chasing them, guess what happens? They have normal digestion again. They rest and they recover, and they're ready for day 2 when the tigers and lions will chase them again. Never in societal history have we seen such a pandemic of human stress zones over and above what is normal. Digestion never gets a chance to be its best. In fact, a lot of times overstress leads to this digestive tract shutting down because the stress load is so high. So chronic stress drives acid levels down. It causes motility rate in the gut lining to slow down, and it causes leaky gut. Whoa, what's leaky gut? Well, that means you've got undigested particles, inflammatory particles that are going into your bloodstream, creating inflammation in other tissues of the body because now the body is working too difficult. So why zebras don't get ulcers? Because they're only chased by the tiger once, maybe twice a day, and then they go about their business. And then they are chilling and resting and getting ready for day 2. Chronic stress, long-term stress. And the way I measure stress is if your stress levels is on a 0 to 10 scale, a 7+, that means that your stomach is in jeopardy. Digestion as a whole is in jeopardy. And frankly, a holy, H-O-L-E, hole in your gut is plausible, possible, and likely because the gut lining is deteriorating at warp speed. So we've got to get your stress levels under control. And so this is why we want to repair the gut. So why gut repair is popular today? Because it isn't rocket science that if you are digesting well, you're living well. If you're not digesting well, you're not living well. So if, again, bloating, reflux, food reactions, if you are having daily crashes, if you eat and get bloated, if you have bloat naturally just all the time below your belly button, in your pelvis area, this is because you have excessive amount of toxins that your body cannot get rid of. And so daily toxins from storing things in plastic Tupperware, using pesticides in and around our houses, medications, metal toxicity from things in your teeth or medications that you're taking. These all cause the body to deteriorate more quickly, demanding higher mineral levels. For every toxin, if I could take any of these toxins listed here and unitize them, then guess what I would notice? I would notice that you would lose 2 to 3 minerals per toxic issue that you're carrying. So we've got to repair the gut so that we have more energy, more vitality, healthier looking skin, hair, nails, better mental focus and clarity, feeling like that little chica there, like a kid again. The gut lining, again, guys, is everything. And so the Detox in a Box is a solid way to start your wellness journey and get your health back into a state of de-inflammation and give you the ability to have the energy, clarity, and renewal that you've always known you could have. And we will see better digestion at the stomach level, better liver detoxification at the liver level, the gallbladder level in digesting fats, and of course, the healing and restoration process of the gut lining. The Detox in a Box is literally 20 years, 21 years really, because I did it long before I started practice, but essentially of me doing this myself. I do this twice a year minimum, sometimes as much as 4 times a year. Just had a patient finish her back-to-back. She went 1 month, took 10 days off, did another month, 21 days, and fascinating, the results. The deeper cleansing that you get when you hit it back-to-back is just time in the saddle. The more you detox, the better, especially if you have symptom patterns, if you have weight issues, if you have brain fog, if you are on medications, if you have any symptom that you were not genetically born with. This is next level step for you, the Detox in a Box. It is a 21-day restoration vitality program that gives your body a better opportunity to stay ahead of the wellness curve and not slip into the symptoms that most people today are dealing with. If you are on medications, the average American right now that is 40 and above is on 3 to 5 medications. I want to help you get off that mess. It isn't serving you, and it's sure as heck not going to last in the long run. My mom was in her 50s and she was on 6 drugs and a hormone. How well do you think that played out for her? Well, thankfully, God showed us these tools early. Her and I have done quite a few detoxes. She's not done as quite as many as I have. I've been a little bit more aggressive. But at the end of the day, my mom is still an avid player living a drug-free life. And it is exciting to watch her age gracefully. She still travels. She's still active. She's still on her feet a lot. I have her running errands, as you can imagine, with 4 grandbabies all the time. And she is a go-hard, go-getter. And so it is cool to see a 77-year-old lady, drug-free, kicking butt, taking names, living her best life. And these are the practices. We've done every diet. Not that she's perfect in diet, but she's taken her vitamins. Not that she's perfect in her vitamins, but she is actively participating more often than not in the long-term game. So wellness, guys, is a what? It's a long-term game. Where's the finish line? The grave. When you give up the ghost, that's when. So you play hard. You get this done. You make this a priority. Every 6 months, 2 times a year, and you will see benefit. People will notice that you're not aging at the same rate. You'll notice that you feel more energetic and alive than most people do. So this is why we promote the Detox in a Box. So when we look at your labs, when we look at restoration, when we look at results, and we control stress, guess what's going to happen? You guys are going to start feeling alive and vibrant. You guys are going to perform at a whole new level of vibrancy that you wouldn't have otherwise. You see, stress magnifies dysfunction. Toxins magnifies dysfunction. What is dysfunction? Your body not performing at its best. But healing is possible with the right plan in place, and your body will change as we evolve you through the detox programs, the wellness programs, the ongoing core 4 that we want you tapped into, and the reminders of what you should be eating more than you should, and avoiding the things you shouldn't be eating. This is what putting it together looks like over the course of life. Sorry if you think you're retired and you can just eat candy, cakes, and enchiladas. It just doesn't work that way. You got to be smarter than that. Don't be sold on falsity. That is not a truth. I watched this one patient with Alzheimer's dementia. The wife was just not able to say, sorry, honey, you can't eat that fritter from the fast food chain. You can't have that ice cream from that other fast food chain. Sorry, honey, you can't do those things. And Alzheimer's not only stayed, but it progressed. And it was a sad kind of watch of misery and decline. And it ended in an earlier than necessary death. Then another patient, she took the bull by the horns. She was the daughter of her father's issue of Alzheimer's and dementia, 15 years diagnosed. And inside of inside of 6 months to 9 months, not only was he starting to come back online, he was starting to tell stories again. He had another positive 3.5 years at 97.5, I think is when he passed. 97.5, 15 years dementia, and he overcame it, Alzheimer's and dementia. How? Because we changed his diet. Well, his daughter changed his diet. She said, sorry, Dad, you're not eating that junk. Sorry, Dad, you're taking these vitamins. Sorry, Dad, we're doing this thing. And Dad, whatever, he doesn't have any control anymore. And unfortunately, that's when it's that sad of a dire situation, we, the caregivers, have to step up and do the hard thing and say the hard thing. So 2 cases, one successful, one unsuccessful because of choices. It's your life, your health, your
This
choice.
presentation will decode your blood work to show you what's really going on.
I want basically you guys to see that we have tools and resources for you through blood examination, and we can teach you how to be your best day in and day out. So who's ready to start a reset and get the body working like it's supposed to? I am. The detox in a box is key. The detox in a box is your next right step. So visit drchapawellness.com. Be prepared for life change. This is launch. This is NASA. This is how we lift off into the stratosphere of life to a better version. Ready, set, go. Let's go. Race to the detox in a box. Know that we're going to help you. We're going to support you through the whole process. We have got plenty of resources and tools, community. We've got courses. We've got papers that you can look at, formulas, recipes for food to eat and to try. And we want you living your best, being your best day in and day out. So please join us for our 21-day detox in a box. This is the time. Restoration, revitalization, renewal is at hand, and it is your life, your health, your choice. You get to start your healing journey today. So visit drchapawellness.com and know that at all times in this process, I am here to support you through and through, because we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the backbone for you to be your best, perform your best, and live your best. So I hope tonight's Prezi was awesome. I hope you loved it. I hope you share it with all your friends, family, and loved ones. It's here for you to perform better. Bring your blood work in. Let's get involved in the community and tell people how to live better, be better, stay better, one bite at a time. And as always, remember, Dr. Chapa loves you.